Did you guys see what Candace Owens just released on the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni case? Because I think it actually just confirms that the whole reason that this is all an issue is because Ryan Reynolds, this is what I think. I think Ryan Reynolds thought that Blake was cheating on him.
I think stuttering's something that people still tease and bully, and it's something that's an easy target for that kind of thing.
Were you teased?
What's that?
Were you teased?
Yeah, for sure. And then I just kind of stopped speaking as much.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's part of the journey. It's just, and that's really what I tell everyone, is that it's not all of you. It's just a part of you, and everyone's got something. This just is your thing, you know.
Wait, y'all didn't know that Emily Blunt and Blake Lively became worst enemies because she was allegedly chasing after Emily's husband, John Krasinski, and it would turn out that Blake's talent for inserting herself in places where she's not wanted goes beyond just stealing other people's movies or campaign ideas, as she also allegedly tried to steal Emily's entire life. I mean, what's not to like? Emily Blunt stays out of the gossip mill. Her career is steadily growing without too many controversial moments. She has a husband and kids who are devoted to her, and she doesn't have to perform cuteness to get the press to treat her like a Hollywood princess. Word on the street is that Emily went ballistic on Blake when she found out Blake had been thirsting after her husband, and she's not going to stop until Blake's career gets destroyed for good. So why would Blake leave her glamorous life and chase after another person's husband? And what does Ryan Reynolds have to do with all this? Let's get into it.
Did Blake Lively pull a Hailey Bieber and stalk Ryan Reynolds before they started dating? Because Blake Lively's Van Zandt company was actually formed in 2008, 2 years before the rumored affair with Ryan Reynolds when they met on the set of The Green Lantern in 2000.
According to insiders who claim they know all the tea, this entire situation began at a 2022 private dinner hosted by Chanel in Paris, where many guests noticed that Blake Lively looked far too comfortable around John Krasinski, laughing at all his jokes while he smiled way too hard, and leaning into him like they were the only two people in the room as they acted like giddy teenagers. And where Emily was right there watching her husband get wrapped around another woman in real time. In fact, all the pictures from that night showed Blake and John looking cozy with no Emily anywhere, making it seem like they were attending as each other's dates rather than married people who arrived with their own spouses. Interestingly, every photo taken at the event later vanished from the internet, and according to sources, Emily flipped out afterward and confronted John about his connection with Blake, which is when all the shady secrets began surfacing. Apparently, Blake had been unhappy in her marriage for a long time, and she took John's offer of a shoulder to lean on as an opportunity to lean on other things, allegedly thirsting after him, sending countless messages, calling during odd hours, and making herself conveniently available at every event he attended, clearly signaling that she wanted John for herself and was ready to burn everything down to get him, including her friendship with Emily Blunt, who had once been super close to her. Before all this messy drama unfolded, Emily and Blake had grown very close because their husbands, John and Ryan, were friends, and over time the women became almost besties themselves.
Valentine's Day, obviously. Any Valentine's Day plans for you?
Blake's taking me out for dinner.
No.
I'm sort of wait. My husband's away, so are you going to take me out for dinner?
That felt nice when we
I'm
were
going to
holding
crash.
each other on
I'm
that
gonna-
red carpet.
It felt kind of cozy.
I feel like I want to join this date night.
I'm going to crash her and Ryan's.
The four of them often went on double dates and even visited one another at home from time to time. And back in 2018, Emily and Blake went viral after photos of them at a Michael Kors fashion show began circulating, showing them sitting beside Zendaya and laughing hysterically at something. And once the photos spread, some people assumed that Blake and Emily were laughing at Zendaya or gossiping about her. According to insiders, Emily finally shut down the rumors in a 2021 Vanity Fair lie detector interview, explaining that Blake, who was wearing a red trench coat, was likely worried she was flashing the cameras, and they shared a little inside joke moment that Zendaya wasn't part of because she was focused on the runway, which showed just how close Blake and Emily were at the time and how rare such a genuine bond is in an industry where strategic alliances matter more than real friendships. However, none of that mattered to Blake once she decided she deserved Emily's life. though many people feel Blake isn't entirely to blame since Ryan Reynolds wasn't exactly a great husband, with word on the street suggesting he has a massive ego, can't stand the idea of his wife being more successful than him, and allegedly tries to control Blake to the point that he would prefer she quit acting and become a stay-at-home mom. People have been digging up old blind items about Blake and Ryan, and some of the claims are shocking, like a November 2012 blind item just months after their wedding describing how the actress didn't sign up to hide inside every night because she wanted to work, be noticed, appear in magazines, and not live her life around an A-list movie actor who demanded everything revolve around him. Another blind item from 2015 even claimed the former B-list, mostly television actress was berated in front of friends for 20 minutes after she used the dog walker instead of personally walking the dog as her husband had instructed, showing a level of toxicity beyond normal relationship problems. According to insiders, things became even worse when Blake's career started picking up again after a slow period, and whispers began spreading that Blake didn't just feel unloved and frustrated, but was actively looking for an emotional outlet, which allegedly led to her thirsting after Emily Blunt's husband like she was in heat, something that eventually blew up in her face. But what's even wilder is that this reportedly wasn't Blake's first time destroying another woman's relationship, because rumors once circulated that she had an affair with Ben Affleck while he was married to Jennifer Garner after the two hit it off on the set of the 2010 movie The Town, and despite Ben being married, their attraction supposedly didn't stop them from taking things off camera and messing around for months until Jen figured it out, though by then the damage was done. A 2015 blind item even described how Jen's OCD made her difficult to live with while Ben's gambling, drinking, and womanizing wrecked their marriage, and mentioned a former B-list, mostly television actress from an almost network show, strongly implied to be Blake, who hooked up with Ben several times. It even suggested that had Ben left Jennifer. The next 2 years for him and Blake would have looked completely different because Blake supposedly preferred Ben over her current partner. This raised the question of why she went after Ryan Reynolds in the first place, and for those who don't know, Ryan and Blake began seeing each other when he was still married to Scarlett Johansson, which explains why Blake allegedly panicked years later when she found out Ryan planned to work with Scarlett again. Insiders claimed Ryan grew distant from Scarlett once his affair with Blake began, sneaking off to take Blake's calls, coming home late, and constantly inventing excuses to be away, and one 2015 blind item even described Scarlett talking about her A-list actor ex who stopped in the middle of actual intimacy, not foreplay, actual intimacy, to take calls he claimed were from his mother. And she suspected he even encouraged his mom to call before they were intimate just so he'd have an excuse to stop. Although it later turned out he wasn't calling his mother at all but Blake, his mistress. Eventually, Ryan dumped Scarlett and publicly launched his relationship with Blake, making it clear how messy, interconnected, and complicated the entire situation truly was.
We just get confirmation that Ryan Reynolds cheated on Scarlett Johansson with Blake Lively. Now, it's been rumored that these two had an affair on the set of The Green Lantern. That's where they met. Ryan Reynolds was the Green Lantern, Blake Lively played his love interest. But at the time, Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson, and Blake Lively was dating Penn Badgley. Then by the end of 2010, Ryan Reynolds had divorced Scarlett Johansson, and Blake Lively had broken up with Penn Badgley. Then by 2011, they confirmed their relationship, and by 2012, they're getting married on a plantation.
Sadly, their honeymoon phase didn't last long at all, as Blake allegedly felt deeply insecure about her marriage because its foundation was so shaky, and she would flip out whenever Ryan seemed to interact with Scarlett, while he did little to reassure her that he had truly closed that chapter of his life. A 2014 blind item described how toxic things became, saying this former B-plus list mostly television actress, who barely acted anymore because of her controlling A-list husband, had control issues of her own, and went ballistic when Ryan received a screener of a film starring his almost A-list ex, yelling, accusing him of still wanting to sleep with her, and becoming so hysterical that she was spitting and hyperventilating. Their relationship kept deteriorating until they were both seeking any excuse to avoid one another, and things escalated even further once Blake started having kids, pushing their tension to an all-time high. According to sources, they even began using friends as buffers, Taylor Swift would step in to help mediate their fights, and Emily and John would invite them on double dates so they could cool off. But it was during these meetups that Blake started falling for John because she would watch the way he treated Emily and wish she were the one receiving that kind of love. Interestingly, Blake's thirst didn't stop with John, because when Justin Baldoni reached out to her for the lead role in It Ends With Us, she allegedly fell for him almost instantly, and according to the lawsuit Justin filed, she invited him to her trailer while breastfeeding or pumping, refused to consult the intimacy coordinator hired for the film, and sometimes called him at midnight, seemingly doing anything to get his attention. Ryan, of course, wasn't stupid and saw the signs, and when he confronted Blake, she denied everything and insisted Justin was pursuing her. Insiders claim she never even intended to sue Justin until Ryan pushed her to do it. Later, an insider spilled tea on social media claiming, "Yesterday, I received a tip from someone who allegedly worked on the set of It Ends With Us." Lately, everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain in this saga is Ryan Reynolds.
You guys see what Candace Owens just released on the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni case? Because I think it actually just confirms that the whole reason that this is all an issue is because Ryan Reynolds, this is what I think Ryan Reynolds thought that Blake was cheating on him. Here's the thing. If you don't know what Candace just released, she basically said that an insider scoop on the set of the movie It Ends With Us released to them that the issues started when Ryan randomly started showing up on set and demanded to see the dailies, which is all the footage that they shoot that day that, like, we wouldn't necessarily see in the movie, but, like, they would see it, right? It's like all the footage that they would go through before they make the movie. Why would he want to see that? Why would he want to see that? Apparently, purportedly, him and Blake were also fighting in the trailer. I would never, like, project or say my opinions on someone else's marriage, except in this case, we have an issue of a woman who is purportedly accusing someone else of sexual harassment. And it could be that Blake actually maybe had kind of a weird thing with this guy. And Ryan was like, this is weird. This is weird. And to save face, she was like, he sexually harassed me. And so he went on set and demanded to look at the footage because that is actually the only thing that makes sense. And my mouth is on the floor.
Ryan allegedly pressured talent agency WME to drop Justin Baldoni by giving them an ultimatum: either keep him or keep Blake. Ryan and Taylor, who were also represented by WME, making the choice obvious, and while Blake likely didn't expect her past to come back and bite her, Emily isn't planning to let her slide after nearly ruining her marriage. Especially since when did it become acceptable for friends to thirst after their friends' husbands? According to sources, things are extremely tense behind the scenes, and Blake and Ryan are reportedly begging Emily not to take action yet because exposing everything would hurt their already weak case against Justin Baldoni, which is in a fragile position as it is. But the question remains whether Emily should come out with the truth anyway, and what people think about Blake being an alleged serial side chick. So, let's hear your thoughts in the comments.